Even the most motivated people have off days. No matter how strong your identity is, your motivation will naturally go up and down. This is something I had to learn the hard way. I remember when I first started running. I built this identity as a runner, and for a few weeks, everything was great. I was getting out there consistently, feeling good about myself. Then one morning, I just didn't feel like running. At all. The thought of putting on my shoes felt impossible. So I didn't run that day. Then I didn't run the next day either, or the next. Before I knew it, 2 weeks had passed, and I was back to thinking, I guess I'm not really a runner after all. This is where most motivation strategies fall apart. They don't account for these natural ups and downs. They assume you'll feel motivated all the time, or that you just need to push through when you don't feel like it. But that's not how our brains actually work. The 2-day rule is a simple solution. Never miss your identity-aligned actions for more than 2 days in a row. 1 day off is fine. 2 days off in a row serves as your warning sign. 3 days off is where temporary dips transform into permanent crashes. I learned this from Michael, who's been working out consistently for over 15 years. I used to think I needed to exercise every single day to maintain my identity as an active person, he told me, but that approach led to burnout. Now I follow the 2-day rule. If I miss a day, no big deal. If I miss 2 days, that's my signal that I need to do something on day 3, no matter what. When you feel the motivation dip coming on, remember, a small step today prevents a crash tomorrow. The rule works because it prevents temporary motivation dips from becoming identity shifts. Your identity forms through consistent actions over time. When you miss 1 day, it barely affects how you see yourself. But after several consecutive missed days, your brain questions your identity. Am I really a writer if I haven't written in a week? Am I really committed to healthy eating if I've been ordering takeout for 5 days straight? These doubts about your identity further decrease motivation. Studies show a psychological difference between a single miss and a streak break in habit formation. Missing once has minimal impact on habit development, but breaking a streak by missing multiple days can set you back significantly. One study found that missing 3 or more consecutive days reduced the chance of establishing a habit by over 30%. Sarah experienced this while building a meditation practice. I used to have an all-or-nothing approach. She said, if I missed a day, I'd feel like I failed and often give up entirely. Now with the 2-day rule, I don't beat myself up. I just make sure I don't miss the next day too. The relief in her voice was palpable. She finally had a system that accommodated real life. When motivation dips, but you need to maintain your streak, use a minimum viable action. Ask yourself, what's the smallest version of this behavior that still counts? If you normally run 3 miles, but don't feel like running, your minimum viable action might be walking around the block. If you're building a writing habit, it could be writing just 1 paragraph instead of 3 pages. These minimum actions still count toward maintaining your identity. You're still a runner if you walk for 5 minutes. You're still a writer if you write 2 sentences. Alex applies this with his guitar practice. I commit to playing guitar daily. But some days I lack motivation for a full session, he told me. On those days, I just play for 5 minutes. Sometimes that's all I do, but often once I start, I end up playing longer. Either way, I've maintained my identity as a guitarist. This approach creates sustainable, long-term motivation. You build in flexibility that accounts for the natural ebbs and flows of motivation, rather than falling into all-or-nothing thinking. Rachel discovered this empowerment when building her writing habit. During a motivation dip 2 months in, she applied the 2-day rule. Instead of abandoning writing until inspiration returned, I wrote something, even just a paragraph, at least every 3rd day. That kept my writer identity intact until my motivation naturally returned a week later. The 2-day rule takes the pressure off. You don't need perfect consistency or constant motivation. You simply prevent long streaks of inaction that might shift your identity in the wrong direction. So next time you're not feeling motivated, remember, it's completely normal. Don't beat yourself up. Just make sure you don't go more than 2 days without taking some action, however small, that aligns with your desired identity. Let's pull everything together into a simple action plan you can start today. your 7-day motivated identity plan. Let's take everything we've talked about and put it into action. I want to give you a simple 7-day plan that builds your motivated identity step by step. This isn't about changing your entire life overnight. That never works. It's about making targeted changes that create real results fast. Most people try to transform everything at once. They decide to work out every day, completely change their diet, wake up at 5 a.m., and start a side business all at the same time. That approach almost always fails. It's simply too much change at once. This 7-day plan focuses on one thing at a time, building each element of your motivated identity day by day. By the end of the week, you'll have a complete system that makes motivation feel natural rather than forced. Here's what you'll do each day. Day 1, identity reflection, 15 minutes. Define who you want to become, not just what you want to do. Example, I am an active person, instead of, I want to exercise more. Like planting a seed, Sarah defined herself as a person who expresses creativity daily, rather than just having a vague goal about creativity. Day 2, select small actions. Choose one tiny action, under 5 minutes, that expresses your new identity. For a reading identity, reading 1 page. For fitness, a 5-minute walk. Think of it as lighting a small match that will eventually build a fire. Mike chose watching just one educational video daily to build his learning identity. It seemed too easy, he told me, but that's why it worked. Day 3, adjust your environment. Make one physical change to your space that supports your identity. Make one social environment change that reinforces who you're becoming. Like a gardener preparing soil, Lisa created a meditation corner in her bedroom and joined a text group where friends check in after meditating, making her practice more consistent. Day 4, shift your language. Identify 3 phrases you commonly use that undermine your identity. Replace them with identity-affirming alternatives. Words shape reality. Carlos replaced, I need to get more organized with, I'm a productive person who values organization, making organizing feel like an expression of his identity. Day 5, create your tracking system. Establish a simple way to track your daily identity-aligned actions. Could be X's on a calendar or a habit tracking app. Like creating a map of your journey, Rachel set up a small calendar by her desk to track daily writing. Seeing those X's add up was so satisfying, she said. After a week, I already had visible proof. Day 6, define your minimum viable action. Determine the smallest version of your behavior that still counts. This becomes your backup plan for low motivation days. It's your safety net. Alex was building a musical identity with 30-minute practice sessions, but his minimum was playing just one song. Having this minimum made it so I never broke my streak, he explained. Day 7, review and plan next steps. Reflect on what worked well and what needs adjustment. Set up week 2, possibly adding a second small identity action. This is your navigation check. Jana celebrated her 5 meditation days and adjusted her plan. I realized morning meditation worked better than evening, so I adjusted my schedule and added taking 3 mindful breaths before each meal. What makes this plan effective is its step-by-step approach to building your motivated identity system. Each day addresses a different element, from defining your identity to preparing for motivation dips. The plan works for any motivation goal: fitness, creativity, productivity, or mindfulness. It addresses both psychological aspects, identity and language, and practical elements, actions and environment. People experience noticeable changes within just 1 week. Their identity-aligned actions feel more natural and require less willpower. They catch themselves using new language about who they are and feel momentum building as their tracking calendar fills up. Tim followed this plan to build his identity as a reader. By day 4, I noticed something weird, he told me. I actually wanted to read. It wasn't something I had to force myself to do anymore. It just felt like a natural part of my evening routine. This 7-day plan works because it builds each element of your motivated identity systematically. Instead of forcing massive change through willpower, it creates conditions for motivation to flow naturally, transforming motivation from something you generate into something that expresses who you truly are.